Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's your boy JR Space here, back with another video. This one is based on something a little bit different because I don't want to just keep doing wishlist videos all the time. Like, that's not what it's all about. We're trying to talk about discussions and different things and opinions and all those sorts of things. I'm about to give you mine, based on a video I just watched from Endgame the Cube. I'll link his video in the description below, but it was pertaining to new NX rumors, some quite specific ones actually. I had to watch the video again because I was gonna record this one, but my audio was terrible, so I went back, watched it, took some notes, and I'm gonna just talk about a couple of the notes that I thought. Alright, here we go. So, number one, it's not a list, I'm just saying number one isn't at the beginning. So, okay. He mentioned that the NX, in terms of power, is kind of in between Xbox One and PS4, which I think isn't necessarily bad, because I think the only reason that Xbox One and PS4 want to do upgraded versions of the current consoles isn't because their consoles are lacking in power. It's that they're not capable of doing things like 4K resolution and other things like that. But a lot like with HD, like full HD when it came, it wasn't what's the word? It wasn't readily available to everybody, and not everybody was supporting it straight away. So it's only they're at best they're just trying to future-proof themselves, which is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that, and maybe Nintendo will do that too. Like, once again, this isn't the truth. This isn't like the absolute fact of the matter that this man has been posting the rumors. Not in the GameCube. The guy who he's got his source from, the guy who says he works at Nintendo. He used to say that Nintendo aren't using a dev kit that's underpowered, and that the console will be more powerful. Who knows? Speaking of power, it said once again, the guy from who leaked it, said the handheld version of the NX, or as the video calls it, the Nintendo Reach, is like Wii U in terms of graphics. So it's like slightly jaggy Wii U graphics, which would be quite impressive, to be honest, in a handheld to have games that of that par would be quite impressive. But even I think, based on how much time they have left in terms of actually developing it, it could always go up. So we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? Next point, it seems that Ubisoft, EA, and Activision might still be supporting Nintendo in terms of console releases. So a lot of their annual games will be making an appearance on the console, which is good. Not to say that their games are, because your games are on the console, the games are great and the console's great, because EA don't make that many great games and Activision don't make that many great games either, but people buy them. So if your console can provide that, then you're obviously going to be in a great place. Apparently, the console will release in two sections. So you have the console version, which comes out first, and then the handheld that comes out next year. And it says that the handheld is more marketed towards casual gamers and the home console for hardcore, which makes sense, really. I think that Nintendo need to, like I said in one of my previous videos, they need to kind of focus more on getting those hardcore gamers back into the fold, because a lot of them kind of walked away after the Wii. Really, there was a lot of great games that could have accommodated for them, but they wouldn't have taken notice, because they go, oh, I don't want to play with a console that looks like a toy. And then the Wii U didn't really help matters, because first of all, a lot of people confused as to whether it was just an actual successor to the Wii or if it was just an add-on. So that kind of didn't help either. But they're saying now that according to this, that Nintendo have learned their lesson, and that they're fully marketing, no gimmicky stuff, just fully marketing, this is the hardcore console, this is the handheld console, and that they can work in unison. Speaking of the handheld console, or maybe, yeah, I think it was a handheld console, they were saying that they will have scroll shoulder buttons and haptic analogs and all that freeform screen stuff, which would be cool, because it would be a rare kind of thing, that a pattern that we've all seen, we've all been getting particularly hyped over, Nintendo actually did use in their design, which would be cool. I still don't know how scroll shoulder buttons will work. Like, wouldn't you have to be careful when you're pressing them not to make it, like, you know, roll? But we'll see. Maybe it works better than I think it is. Now, a part that really got me was it was saying that the console as well as the handheld would have cartridge-based games instead of disc-based and cartridge-based. I guess that would be cheaper in terms of production. Like in my previous video with Mr. Z, I said that I don't think Nintendo would do. Well, it's actually the very first video I made. I don't think that Nintendo would put a home console out that had cartridges. But maybe, I mean, Nintendo have been known to do some pretty outlandish things in comparison to everyone else. I don't know how it would work, because if you're going to be doing, you know, AAA leveled, huge open world games, how large do the cartridges have to be? And also, if you're going to be able to use these on the handheld console version too, does that mean that it would downscale it in terms of graphics and other things like that? Who knows? We'll just have to see. There's a lot of unanswered questions there, I think, and a lot of things that Nintendo are probably going to clear up at E3. Speaking of which, it was also mentioned that they're going to have an event before E3 in April, late April, which would be good, like Sony did with the PS4. You don't necessarily show off everything, you just kind of whet people's appetites a bit, like, oh, you know, these are some of the games, and these are some of the developers we have on board, and there's a lot of great stuff coming, so that people don't feel like, oh, you know, you're not showing anything because you don't have anything, which is exactly what Nintendo want to prove is the opposite. They've got a bunch of stuff, they just didn't want to show it to you yet. Right. Onto the OS. It says that it shares a similarity across handheld and home, a bit like iOS, or yeah, I guess iOS is the best comparison. iOS and OS X, sorry, in terms of it kind of works in a very similar fashion, or it works in a way that's very, very easy to translate between the two. So you wouldn't go, oh, this is a completely different system to the handheld part of the Nintendo Reach. I'm gonna call it Nintendo Reach for now. Speaking of which, actually, I don't know if that name, the name, it seems a bit strange, like, but only because I've been used to the NX name now. But it's not completely out there, out of the realms of possibility that Nintendo would have a name like that, because, I mean, let's be honest, the Wii was called Wii, and a lot of people didn't think of it as yeah, anyway. Nintendo aren't necessarily bound by any terms of naming their consoles, not like Sony. So, what also I've heard about this Nintendo Reach is that there's no true backwards compatibility, which I mentioned in a previous video, in terms of a features wish list. I really hoped that Nintendo did do that. Like, even if they had, I don't know how they would end up doing it, but if this console is completely different in terms of architecture, then I guess they can't do that, can they? But instead, they say that there will be ports of great games instead, so you'll get maybe your HD remasters of I don't know, not Splatoon. They'll probably just make a sequel. Maybe Xenoblade and Bayonetta 2. I don't know. We'll just have to see. But speaking of which, you're saying that there's gonna be a lot of emphasis on Virtual Console, which would be really, really good. I mentioned that before. I think Nintendo should go fully back in terms of Virtual Consoles. I mean, come on, you went with the Wii and the Wii U and you still haven't got GameCube games yet. Come on, let's get some GameCube games out there. Obviously, you get your N64, your Wii. You know, just really, really, because Nintendo have not lacking in a back catalogue. They have so much to be able to provide to people, that so many great games that people would have missed who didn't get the Wii or didn't get the Wii U. So to be able to finally get those games would be really, really good. To get those games to people that should have been playing them, or could have been playing them rather. I think in terms of marketing to the hardcore, that's a really, really good idea. Like, a lot of people kind of, it's not that they don't respect Nintendo, it's just that they don't take them seriously as a contender in terms of the hardcore arena anymore. They just think, oh yeah, you know, that's just a great console to buy so you can play with your kids if you have any, or just a little bit of fun times. Nothing like, oh, this is the immersive tournament kind of console where you would be, really, really practicing, or playing it until it melts or whatever. Like, I don't know. A lot of people don't really have that image of Nintendo anymore, and I think if this console, described as it is in these details, is anything like that, Nintendo are definitely gonna be able to turn that whole idea around, which would be really, really good to be able to show people. No, no, no. We understand what your concern was, and we're answering those concerns, which would be really, really cool. Lastly, I'm just gonna mention quickly a few games that they said potentially will come. Zelda, which has the subtitle Fields of Dawn. Yeah, I don't know about that name. We'll have to see. And they're saying that game will be a launch title. Like I was already saying, that the Wii U NX dual platform release probably would be a thing. I think Nintendo would be losing an opportunity if they didn't do that, because a lot of people aren't going to be instant adopters of the NX or the Reach, or whatever you want to call it. They're probably still going to have their Wii U for a little while, because not everyone's just got the big cash money wads to just be able to go, oh, let me just buy a new console. Like, no, let me just chill out, save some money, and buy the new one when I have the money to do so. So if you release the game on the Wii U, people can still pick it up, still play it. And if it's really, really good, and I can test to this, if the game is good, I will buy it twice. Like, I did that with Arkham City. I got it on the 360, and it was obviously a great game. Came on the Wii U, and I was like, yeah, probably going to buy that again. And I did, and I didn't regret it for a second. So it's not completely unheard of for people to do things like that. So if Nintendo did that, that's double the sales. So no complaints there, right? And it may even help them to shift a few more Wii U's before the end of its life. So that would be great. The next game was described as Nintendo All Stars, which is like an RPG game that uses Amiibo, which I think would be really, really good, because this Amiibo thing just absolutely took off, and even Nintendo didn't think it was gonna be that crazy, which is really, really impressive that people just adopted it so quickly. And it's obviously a great feature for the Wii U. And if there's gonna be a game that's using them heavily on the Reach or the NX, obviously they're going to continue with that support, which is really, really good. You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot, or go out to the back and kill your cash cow, do you? So it's good that Nintendo continuing that support. And with an RPG game that uses all the different characters, almost like Project Cross Zone or X Zone? I can't remember. I think it's Cross. But that game has loads of crossovers, which I think is a Capcom game. But it has like Fire Emblem, Street Fighter, all cool people in it. So that would be cool if Nintendo did a game that was something like that. Let's see. They said a new Animal Crossing is in the works, which is just, it needs to be done. Like, no one was convinced. But what was it called? Happy Home Designer? Or there was one on Wii U, that one that no one cared about. Yeah. Anyway, just make a proper Animal Crossing, Nintendo. Don't bother with those little side man stories. Those should be side quests or mini games in the full game, not an actual game you want me to buy for full price. Come on, son. And the last game was this game described as Mario Underground, which is basically like a standard kind of Mario game from the sounds of it, or like a Mario World, but it's all takes place deep underground. And they're saying that you have counterparts to each character, which would be cool to discover what those are, and that it might be quite heavily story based, which would also be cool. We'll just have to wait and see what happens, really, because I think, for one, it's been a bit too long since we've had a really immersive Mario game. Not to say the 3D World wasn't, but I mean like Galaxy, where it's like, oh man, this huge world, I'm gonna take part in, find the secrets and all that kind of stuff, like that you always end up doing in an open Mario game. I think that would be really cool, and I think it would be a really great showcase of what the NX will reach. Now we've got two names, I have to use both. See the problem? Okay, that it would really showcase the power or potential power of the console and what it's capable of. And also, knowing how Nintendo work, they always try to use different elements of whatever unique selling point they're using for their console. So like with Nintendo Land, they really showed how the gamepad was capable of so many different things. And even now, what kind of hurts is that a lot of developers don't even bother using a lot of the great elements that the gamepad has, which is annoying. But if anyone does, it's Nintendo, so they would show off how it works and why it's so good, which would be absolutely great. So that's just my thoughts on a few of the things. I didn't mention everything in the video. Like I said, I'll link his video in the description, and you can go and read the source from his video. And that's it for today, or for now at least. I'm probably going to try and do another Tyler the Dent video tomorrow, Thursday, which is the day that this was recorded. So I'll probably see you there if anything. Please, you know what to do, my players. Hit this video up with that like. Hit that video up with a subscribe. And I will catch you. Oh wait, no. Don't forget to comment also on what you think these rumors might be, if they hold any water, what you're waiting to see at E3. Let me know down below in those comments, and I will see you later. So this is your boy JR Special saying, player out.